Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Audio Fanfics and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto left Konoha and built a legendary harem with Tsunade Senju, Shizune, Mei Terumi, Kuretsuchi, Anko Mitarashi, Samui and Yugito ni across the nations. Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. The group of shinobi woke up in their rooms and got in the rays of sunshine. As everyone got up, they washed up and got dressed to start the day. A particular blonde couple was up and about having breakfast before anyone else. So it seems that we have to make a detour, Tsunade said to Naruto. Both were enjoying each other's company, but both also had pressing matters to attend to. But Tsunade-chan, to go back to Konoha is a bit more than a detour, Naruto said with a serious face. Tsunade could tell he was worried. Tsunade and Shizune's secret about a new medical jutsu for Tsunade required the medical books back in Konoha. This was the very last place that Naruto would have wanted to go. Naruto thought over the situation in his head. To go back to that place, man, I don't know, Naruto thought as he looked at Tsunade. Tsunade seemed to really need the books for whatever reason. If she couldn't even tell him, it was obvious that this was important. Naruto looked into her eyes. He always seemed at peace with them. Naruto smiled as he decided. Alright, we can go back, I love you so I will go with you anywhere, Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade smiled as she saw she had her boyfriend's support. Tsunade and Naruto finished their food and left the cafeteria. Naruto and Tsunade went back to their rooms to pack a few things. As they took some things they alerted everyone to the foyer. Alright everyone, Naruto and I will be gone for a few days, so stay here and wait for us, Tsunade said to the confused group. Don't worry, we won't be gone long, I hope, Naruto said to the still confused group. But where are you going? Neji asked them. Both looked at each other and nodded. To Konoha, they said to everyone. Everyone fell to the floor for the sheer stupidity of their idea. You do remember that Konoha wants you to dead, right? Ino said to them. Yeah, we know, both said without a care in the world. Ino face-palmed herself and she tried to figure out the plot behind this. Why are you going back? Shikamaru asked. To get Tsunade-chan her medical books for a new jutsu, Naruto said to them. Everyone's eyes shot up as they tried to figure out this new jutsu. So that's why you guys are going? Lee asked. Both nodded at his question. Really? If not for the medical books they wouldn't think of setting foot in Konoha. Well, we wish you the best, and you better come back, everyone said to them. Both blondes smiled as they nodded. I won't die so easily, Tsunade said to them. My death is not going to be by Konoha or anyone, Naruto said to them. Both waved goodbye the group of genin and their two associates as they vanished in an instant. Everyone decided to explore more of the town or train until Naruto and Tsunade came back. It was going to be quiet around the town. Naruto and Tsunade, both were jumping through the trees at amazing speed as they tried to make it to Konoha at the peak of night. As they ran, both had an interesting conversation about the infiltration of Konoha. Wow, never thought I would be infiltrating Konoha of all places, Naruto said with a smile. I know, I can't believe it either, Tsunade said as she moved through the trees with some elegance. Naruto stared at her form as he saw her move through the trees. He always loved the body she had. Tsunade could feel Naruto's stares on her as they ran through the trees. Tsunade smiled as she turned to Naruto. You know, if you keep staring at me I won't be able to hold my blush down, Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled as he jumped up next to her and gave her a quick kiss. Well then, don't hold it, he said as he left a stunned Tsunade on a tree. Tsunade stopped and put her finger to her lips. Such a smooth talker, Tsunade said with a smile. As she ran to catch up with Naruto. Both were in their own little world as they raced back to Konoha. Both happened to look at the other and unknowingly blush from their past time together. 6 hours later. Both were still rushing back to Konoha as they began to feel tired. Neither had stopped because they didn't have to worry about breaks, but it became clear that they needed one. Naruto-kun, shall we rest for a bit? Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled as he nodded. Both found a little spot as they ate a few snacks and rested to regain stamina. Both enjoyed the calm of the forest as Tsunade rested her head on Naruto's lap. Naruto smiled as he looked at Tsunade's lovely face. As he rubbed his hands through her golden hair, he kissed the side of her cheek, making her squirm a bit. Naruto-kun, I love you, Tsunade said in her sleep. Naruto chuckled as he leaned towards Tsunade and gave her another kiss. I love you too, Tsunade-chan, Naruto said to her. 1.5 hours later. Naruto decided to wake up Tsunade as it was time to go. Naruto shook Tsunade, but was unable to get a reaction out of her. Man, my girl sure can sleep, Naruto said as he got a twinkle in his eye. He leaned and gave Tsunade a deep kiss and his tongue swirled around in her mouth. As Naruto deepened the kiss, he saw Tsunade's face look flushed as he smiled. Tsunade woke up to something incredible on her lips. She woke up to see Naruto giving her a kiss. Tsunade smiled as she got up. What a wake-up call, Tsunade said as she straightened her hair. Naruto smiled. Well, I had to get you up, Harem. It's time to go, Naruto said to her. Tsunade looked at the time and saw Naruto was right. Then Golden Fox-sama, let's go, Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled as he got an idea. He told Tsunade to stay where she was as he clasped his hands together. He closed his eyes and focused. The winds in the surrounding area began to pick up as they swayed the entire forest. Futen, Naruto said as the wind picked up. Tenshi Tsubasa no Jutsu, Wings of the Angels Jutsu, Naruto said as the winds formed around him and became angelic wings that flapped him above the ground. Tsunade for the most part was very impressed. Naruto controlled the wind enough to fly. He could always amaze Tsunade over such things. Naruto picked Tsunade up into his arms as he took to the sky. This is better traveling, Naruto said to her. Tsunade was amazed at the view Naruto gave her. Everything looked so small on the ground as he flew through the skies. In less than 2 hours, Naruto managed to get Tsunade to Konoha. It would have taken another 7 hours before they made it to the gates. A few miles off, Naruto released the jutsu and the wings of wind dispelled. Tsunade masked her chakra and so did Naruto. Both walked to the village as they used the trees for cover. As they walked, they took in the new sight of Konoha. The village had constant clouds of darkness as thunder roamed the village. The place was very different. It seemed like all hope had been sucked out of the village. Naruto and Tsunade heard rumors of the new name for Konoha. So this is the village hidden in the darkness, huh? Naruto said with a shocked face. Tsunade couldn't believe the changes either, but neither had the time to gawk at the scenery. They had an objective to do. Naruto and Tsunade had been in the village before, and knew all the secret places to get in. As they went past the security, they stayed hidden in the shadows as they made their way to the medical facilities. They could see that the place was horrible. People were evil to others and crime was an abundant theme in the village. Man, this air feels toxic, Naruto said with a cough. I know, but we don't have the time to wait, Tsunade told him as they went inside Konoha's medical facility. As they entered, both were being discreet as the Y tried to find Tsunade's vault full of her books. As they hid, they noticed that the total count of victims in Konoha had gone up and it seemed to be rising. Tsunade and Naruto wanted to help, but they could see that if they did they would be killed. Both decided to persevere through the pain as they snuck through the facility. 20 minutes later, both finally found the vault as they smiled at each other. Okay, Naruto-kun, keep watch, I will open this vault, Tsunade said as she tried to work the vault. Naruto nodded as he kept watch of anybody. Tsunade had a difficult time with the lock, mostly because she hadn't been to the vault in a while and nearly forgot the combination. As she finished the code, the vault opened and unveiled all the books Tsunade had. Naruto gasped at the sheer number of them. He knew Tsunade was a medical ninja, but damn. To have this many books on medical just you is almost insane if not obsession. Okay, let me get these books, Tsunade said as she took out a seal and placed it on the ground. Tsunade started to pile all of the books into the scroll as she went from shelf to shelf. After 30 minutes, Tsunade grabbed the last book and put it into the scroll. Okay, that is everything, Naruto-kun, let's go. Hi, Harem. Both ran out the door and closed the vault. As they walked out, they heard someone scream as they saw a Konoha nurse accidentally spot them. Seeing that their cover was blown, Naruto and Tsunade ran for the exit and escape. As they ran out, all of Konoha had been alerted to the presence of intruders. As Naruto and Tsunade entered the trees, they got spotted by all available ninja in Konoha. Damn, we were so close, Naruto said as he sucked his teeth. Tsunade was a little frustrated. All that stealth, only to get caught now, she said as they got surrounded by shinobi. Oh, the demon has returned to Konoha, one of them said. Must be this village's lucky day to end the demon's life, other said. Soon after, Danzo himself made a personal appearance and looked to see Naruto and Tsunade. Well, it seems I don't have to expend resources to find you two now, he said as he laughed. Danzo, how nice it is to see you again, Tsunade said with an arrogant grin. While catching up is fun, you two are dead, he said as he waved his hand. Soon shinobi attacked as Naruto and Tsunade smiled. Naruto-kun, are we trapped? Tsunade said to him. Naruto turned and laughed. Come on, Harem, all I see is an obstacle that is easy to overcome, Naruto said as he brought his hands together. Tsunade did the same. Futen. Sora ha no jutsu, wind style. Sky blade jutsu, Naruto yelled as a blade of wind enveloped his arms. With a quick slash, Naruto managed to cut almost all ninja in his path in two. No one saw his technique as it was too fast to see. Tsunade smiled as she formed her hand signs. Doden. Chikyu Konagana ni, earth style. Earth shatter, Tsunade yelled as she sent her fist into the ground, causing the entire village to rumble. Everyone lost their balance as they looked at the sheer power of the two. They seemed to be a great team. Both could watch each other's back and still managed to evade enemy attacks like it was nothing. No current ninja was a match for them. As the dust settled, Naruto and Tsunade looked to see all the ninja thrown at them on the ground. Anyone else, Danzo? Tsunade asked. Danzo's patience was wearing thin. He have clearly underestimated the two. Suddenly someone appeared from the darkness. This person was in Naruto's age group as the person came into the light. Their hair was pink but had strands of black that ran through the hair. The face and body were very slim. This person also had a very good amount of ki as they came into view. Why, hello Naruto and Tsunade, the mystery person said. Naruto and Tsunade gasped at who it was. This was a totally different person. SS Sakura, both said as they saw the girl of former Team 7 appear before them. Well, this is a surprise. To think I get to kill Naruto today, I love it, Sakura said as she took out a kunai and licked it. Naruto and Tsunade were lost. Sure, Sakura was a dumb fangirl, but to descend this much was almost a dream to the two. Sorry to break it to you, but we aren't dying anytime soon, Naruto said to her. Sakura laughed. Your deaths became clear the moment you stepped your traitorous foot into this village, Sakura said to them. Naruto looked at Tsunade with a serious look. Tsunade, being with Naruto for a while, knew that look. She nodded and turned around face the other shinobi. Naruto faced Sakura. I will tell you this, Sasuke left on his own. I tried to bring him back, but couldn't. Deal with it, Naruto told her. He had enough of Sakura being a bitch about everything that dealt with Sasuke. Well, I will be glad to finish his job, Sakura said as she formed a battle stance. Naruto had enough. He took her insults, her physical abuse, and her ranting. He had enough. Naruto assumed his battle stance. Fine, Sakura. Try and beat me, it might just be the end of you, Naruto said to her. Sakura growled as she charged at Naruto. Naruto in turn charged at her. Both of their kunai connected as thunder clasped through the sky. For Sasuke and this village, I will kill you Naruto, she said to him. Just try it you damn Sasuke-loving bitch, Naruto told her. The thunder clashed as the two former members of Team 7 engaged in battle. Sakura was going to kill Naruto for all the years of grief she had. Naruto was going to survive. He was going to stay with Tsunade and his friends. As the two genin charged each other, the lightning flashed throughout the village. I will kill you today Naruto, Sakura said as charged Naruto. Just try it, Naruto said as he charged Sakura. Both clashed as their kunai made a noise alerting everyone to their presence. Naruto grabbed Sakura's wrist and flung her over his body into a nearby house. Come on Sakura, give it up, you can't beat me, Naruto said with a serious face. Sakura emerged from the destroyed house completely unscathed. Yeah right, I said I would kill you and I will do just that, Sakura said as she made some hand signs. Sakura smiled as she performed her signs. I will show you the new art of this village demon, Sakura said as she put her hands on the ground. Yamiden. Mugen Yami no Jutsu, Dark Style. Infinite Darkness Jutsu, Sakura said as darkness suddenly overwhelmed Naruto causing everything in view to go completely dark. This jutsu, what kind is this? Naruto asked. Laughing Sakura's voice echoed in the dark. This is our new jutsu, we have evolved into the breeders of the dark, Sakura said as she tormented Naruto. Naruto was lost. To be trapped in such a jutsu wasn't good. As he walked around he felt a pain hit his leg as he fell. Damn it what was that? Naruto wondered. Sakura smiled. This is the power of my darkness, it will eat away at your body and soul until you are gone, Sakura said as she watched Naruto's shocked face. Naruto smiled as he got an idea. He knew it would be risky, but now wasn't the time to second guess himself. Naruto managed to stand up and bring his hands together. Sakura smiled at his attempt. Nothing will work in here, this darkness wipes all chakra from my victims, Sakura said as she laughed. Naruto kept on smiling as he heard her torments. Well I know the weakness to this art of yours, Naruto proclaimed. If Naruto could see Sakura, he would have seen the girl on the floor laughing at him. Always the comedian Naruto, there is no weakness here, Sakura said as smiled as Naruto's desperate attempt. Naruto nodded his head in disappointment. Wow I can't believe the second smartest genin can't remember something so simple, Naruto said as he kept his hands together. Oh, then prove to me that there is a weakness, Sakura said to him. With pleasure, Naruto said with a smile. Weakness. This darkness is only genjutsu, Naruto said to her. Sakura became wide-eyed as she heard his proclaim. This is not some darkness art, this is a jutsu made by the first and second Hokage, Naruto said to her. Sakura was a little worried now, but she hid it well. Darkness is meant to trick people Sakura, it obviously tricked you into thinking you could beat me, Naruto said as his body began to heat up. In the darkness glowed a faint light. Kyuubi, you ready to help? Naruto asked. Let's get this bitch. Go brat, Kyuubi said to him. Naruto nodded his head though Kyuubi couldn't see it. The fire around his body became brighter as he finished gathering his chakra. Naruto opened his eyes. Kaden. Kanetsu Bakuhatsu, fire style. Heated explosion, Naruto said as his body became enveloped in fire. He brought his hands out and an explosion of pure fire bursted in the darkness. Sakura was amazed. Naruto was never able to use Kaden Jutsu before. How could he use it now? As the darkness disappeared, Naruto was back outside in the streets as he saw Tsunade fighting more of the ninjas as she kept them occupied. Naruto could see that Tsunade was getting tired. She was a Sannin, but to face so many people by herself wasn't working out. Naruto had to end his fight with Sakura fast. He turned to see Sakura panting hard as she wiped the sweat from her forehead. Sakura wasn't pleased with how things were turning out. Damn it, I had him, I should have finished him off, Sakura said to herself in disgust. It's things like that overconfidence of yours that you still can't beat me, Naruto said as he looked down at his former teammate. Sakura looked up to see Naruto almost in a superior position, like he was looking at her like she was beneath him. Don't look down on me, Sakura said as she jumped up and ran to punch Naruto. Naruto sighed. He had to get him and his girlfriend out of this place. They had stayed too long. I didn't want to use this on anyone, but I have no other option, Naruto said as Sakura neared him. Sakura threw out her punch as it made a slam. Tsunade turned from her fight to see what happened. Tsunade was shocked that Sakura managed to punch Naruto. As Sakura smiled at our feet, she looked to see that she didn't connect with Naruto, but a piece of wind. Naruto looked at her and smiled. Naruto suddenly started to spin his body around as the wind picked up. Futen. Kaden wind style. Rotation, Naruto said as he blew Sakura away from him as she slammed through 3 buildings. Naruto smiled as he stopped. Adapted from the Hyuga's Kaden, mine is much more defensive, Naruto said to the shock of everyone around him. Especially the Hyuga family. That kid, he made a more defensive technique than our own, Hiyashi said as he stared in wonder. Naruto smiled as he looked at the destruction he caused. He saw his girlfriend wanted some answers also. He knew this wasn't the time nor place to talk. Naruto walked over to Tsunade. Well you guys, it's been fun, but we have to go, Naruto told them. Danzo and his followers laughed as they heard the blonde's ridiculous comment. And how can you escape? You're totally surrounded, Danzo said to him. Naruto smiled as he looked at his girl. Tsunade smiled also as she looked up. Well, we aren't completely surrounded, Tsunade said to them. Everyone had no idea what the two were implying. Naruto smiled as he added chakra to his hands. He picked up Tsunade to the surprise of the villagers. Tsunade snuggled into Naruto's arms as she got comfortable. Naruto smiled. Futen. Tenshi Tsubasa no Jutsu, Naruto said as wings of wind formed on his back. Everyone was too shocked to see that Tsunade was waving goodbye. Naruto smiled as he shot off into the sky. Danzo was the first to snap out of it as he saw his prey fly away. What are you people doing? Get them, Danzo said as he pointed to the sky. Before anyone could react to his orders, Naruto and Tsunade were covered by the clouds and disappeared from view. Damn it, find them now, Danzo yelled as the shinobi scattered. In the sky. Well, shall we go back home? Naruto said to Tsunade. Tsunade smiled as she leaned into Naruto's arms. Yes, Golden Fox Sama, let's go, Tsunade smiled as she laid in his arms him. She failed to see his face get closer to hers and her eyes came wide as she felt his lips on hers. Tsunade smiled as she returned his kiss with her as she wrapped her arms around his body. Naruto deepened the kiss as his wings flapped in the sky. Naruto broke the kiss as he stared at a blushed Tsunade. Naruto, you should probably hurry, I don't think my urges can wait long, Tsunade purred into his ear. Naruto severely blushed as he nodded. Well, keeping them restricted isn't good, let's hurry, Naruto told her as he pumped more chakra into his wings as they grew bigger. Naruto turned to their destination. He sped away with a bird of wind cushioning the air. Tsunade could feel the wind on her hair as she held onto her lover's body. Naruto smiled as he felt Tsunade tighten her grip on him. Naruto raced through the sky as he became a blur to everyone around him. As some of the shinobi searched for Naruto and Tsunade, they felt a burst of wind hit the trees and they swayed and tried to keep balance. What was that? One of them asked. Everyone shrugged as they continued to search. Back at the town, I am getting worried, I know they said tomorrow, but still, Ino said as she hid in the foyer. Me too, I just can't stay still when they are going to the last place I thought they would. Neji said as he paced the floor. Come on guys, I am sure they are fine, Tenten said as she tried to calm everyone down. Tenten's right, I am sure they are okay, Hinata said to them. Everyone was clearly worried about the blondes. Shizune and Jiraiya were outside pacing the ground as they thought about the things that could go wrong. 1 hour later, Naruto and Tsunade could see the town that their friends were in as they swooped down. Everyone felt the gust of wind as they saw the blondes land on the ground. As they landed, Tsunade grabbed Naruto's hand and raced past their friends. Everyone wanted to ask questions, but Tsunade rushed through everyone as she took Naruto into their room and closed the door. Everyone wondered what happened as they saw the door open. Tsunade put out a sign as everyone came close to read it. Ino read the note out loud. "Do not disturb until tomorrow," Ino said as she read the note. "Trespassers will be destroyed upon entry," she finished reading. As everyone read the note, they heard moans come from the room. Everyone blushed and fainted as they finally realized what that note meant. "Man, I can't believe those two," Kiba said on the floor. "Let's just leave them until tomorrow, I can't stand this," Tenten said as she ran out the door. Everyone else followed her and didn't dare see Tsunade and Naruto until tomorrow. Naruto and company were traveling through Kumo as they tried to figure out the best plan for evading Konoha. Over the days, some Anbu had given them trouble, but nothing they couldn't handle. As everyone walked, some people were starting to slow down from exhaustion. "Where the hell are we even going?" Choji asked. Some of the genin nodded as they tried to figure this out. Some could only nod their heads in shame at the way the others had no stamina. By this time, Naruto and Tsunade were in full-blown couple mode. Everyone save Jiraiya was content with the way the couple was acting. At times they held hands, or at other times just leaned on the other's shoulders. Tsunade and Naruto turned around to see everyone tired of walking. "All right everyone, we will take 30 minutes to rest," Tsunade said to everyone. Everyone sighed as they dropped to the floor, thankful to Kami for some compassion. Tsunade face-palmed herself at the pitiful display. "Come on guys, walking 65 miles is nothing," Naruto said to them. Everyone's sweat dropped and looked at Naruto. "I am not a stamina freak like you," Shikamaru said as he sat down. Everyone else agreed with him as they rested. Tsunade could see the reason though. They had been walking forever and didn't have a real destination in mind. "Man, where can we go to be safe from Konoha?" Tsunade thought as she bit her thumb. Naruto noticed her thinking and smiled. He sat next to her and blew a nice breeze on her neck. Tsunade flinched and blushed at the action. She turned to her newfound love and smiled. "That was mean, Naruto-kun," Tsunade said to him. "Maybe it was Tsunade-chan, but you loved it," Naruto said with a smile. As Naruto and Tsunade talked, both felt a sudden chill come over them. Tsunade instantly got up along with Naruto. "Do you feel that, Tsunade-chan?" Naruto asked. "Yeah, I do. It isn't Konoha, but I can't tell," she answered. They turned to see everyone could feel the presence too. "What should we do?" Naruto asked her. Tsunade turned to him and smiled. "Why don't we see who it is? If it is a problem, we will fight," Tsunade said as she punched her palm. Naruto could only laugh as he nodded. Both waited for the threat to show up. 10 minutes later, Naruto and company still waited until they saw a bunch of sand bullets fly at them. Naruto and Tsunade dodged and looked at each other. They smiled as they turned back. "Gaara, you shouldn't shoot your friends," Naruto said as the group turned around. Everyone saw Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari appear in front of them. "Man, do you guys have any idea how hard it was to track you?" Kankuro said as he sat down. He took his puppet of his back and set it down. Temari dropped her fan and Gaara dropped his gourd. "Well, we have to keep ourselves hidden from Konoha," Naruto answered. Kankuro smiled and nodded as he laid down. "Yeah, sure kid, whatever," he said as he went to sleep. Temari turned to see Shikamaru cloud gazing. She walked over to him and poked his side. "Hey lazy," she said with a smile. Shikamaru turned his gaze to the blonde Suna woman. "Hey yourself," he said as he slid over for her to sit down. Gaara sat near Shizune and Jiraiya as everyone rested. Everyone enjoyed the tranquility of the mountains as they took in the air. Soon Naruto leaned on Tsunade's body as he fell asleep. Tsunade chuckled. 65 miles is nothing, huh? Yeah right, Tsunade said as she gave Naruto a kiss on the forehead and fell asleep. Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari saw the little action and sweat dropped. They all turned to their respective group. What is that all about? They asked at the same time, but to different people. Shikamaru, Shizune, and Shino turned around to see Naruto and Tsunade sleeping on each other's body. Oh, that is new immoral couple, Shizune told Gaara. Gaara was wide-eyed as he stared at the couple. Oh, that is a weird love if I have ever seen one, Shikamaru said as went back to cloud gazing. That is the unbridled love between people, Shino said as he turned back around. Temari and Kankuro stared at them and then nodded their heads. Most unpredictable ninja, they said as they slept. Soon what was supposed to be a 30-minute rest turned into a sleep session for everyone. Everyone quietly drifted off as they regained their energy. 2 hours later, soon some people were starting to get up as they rubbed their eyes to talk in the sunlight. Naruto got up and looked to see Tsunade still sleeping. He looked around to see a majority of everyone still out cold. Naruto smiled as he thought. But Tsunade-chan is right, where can we go? Naruto wondered as he thought. He kept pondering and pondering until his memory came to the fourth Hokage. Why am I thinking about him right now? Naruto thought as he remembered the lessons about the fourth he heard in class. Flashback. And so that is why the fourth is regarded as the most powerful Hokage, Iruka said to the class. Any questions? He asked as he looked around the room. No one raised their hand until he spotted Naruto. Yes, Naruto, Iruka said. Iruka-sensei, why did the fourth have so many enemies? Naruto asked. Iruka smiled as he nodded. Good question, Naruto. To put it simply, he was one of the great seal master in the world, and also the inventor of many forbidden jutsu. A lot of enemy countries wanted his jutsu but died trying. This created some hostility between Konoha and some countries, namely. End flashback. Naruto suddenly stood up and looked wide-eyed. That's it, we can go there, Naruto said in realization. This was the last place Konoha would think to look or would at least not want to go. Naruto wanted to tell everyone, but didn't want to be on the receiving end of everyone's wrath. Guess I will wait for them to wake up, Naruto said as he slowly got up and laid Tsunade gently on the ground. He kissed her cheek as he got a warm smile as a response. Well, guess I will work on my new jutsu. I can't say I have had much time to practice it, Naruto said to himself as he walked off. 2 hours later, Tsunade groggily got up and rubbed her eyes. As she got up, she leaned next to her blonde lover, but she fell to the ground. Tsunade opened her eyes and saw that Naruto was gone. Tsunade suddenly jumped up and looked around for him. Tsunade got worried as she couldn't find Naruto anyway. As she looked around the mountains, she heard a loud bang in one of the nearby mountains. Tsunade ran to the mountain to see smoke covering her view. As she looked, she saw Naruto appear from the smoke. Tsunade suddenly felt relieved that Naruto wasn't captured by Konoha, but she still wondered what he was doing. Tsunade decided to hide behind the rock and watch. Damn, I guess I need to make the wind thinner, Naruto said as he got back into a stance. Tsunade wondered what he was doing until she saw him mumble some words that she couldn't hear. His arms suddenly began to shake violently. Tsunade could see Naruto swing both arms forward as if he was throwing something. As he settled down, Tsunade couldn't see what he was supposed to be doing. Is this a new jutsu? She wondered as she watched her blonde train. Maybe it is, a mystery voice said behind her. Tsunade turned around to see her blonde's face in front of her. Tsunade jumped as she slid down the mountain. Naruto's clone smiled as it poofed away. Naruto gathered the information and smiled. As Tsunade slid down, she landed into Naruto's arms. Tsunade opened her eyes to see herself in Naruto's arms. Hello, Harem, Naruto said to her with a smile. Tsunade looked up and bonked him on the head. Don't scare me like that, she said with a smile. Sorry, won't happen again, Naruto said to her. Tsunade nodded. It better not happen, Aga. She was interrupted by a sudden kiss to her lips. Soon Tsunade relaxed and leaned into the kiss. After a full minute, Naruto separated from her and looked at her. Anything else? He asked. Tsunade looked up and blushed. Man, I was ready to yell and now you go and do that to me. How am I supposed to yell at you now after that? Tsunade said with a smile. Come on, you know I would never intentionally worry you, Naruto told her. Tsunade smiled as Naruto set her down. So what new jutsu were you working on? Tsunade asked, curious of her blonde's training. Oh, you saw that? Well, I haven't mastered it, but I have the basis for it. I can't go into details, but I will say it will be about A rank when I show it, Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade nodded her head. Okay, I hope to be there when you show it, she said as she turned around to leave. Wait, Tsunade-chan, Naruto said suddenly. Tsunade turned around to see Naruto next to her. What is it, Naruto-kun? She asked. I noticed you thinking about where we should go next. I have an idea on where we can go, Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade's full attention was given to Naruto in anticipation of his idea. Oh, and where should we go? She asked with a smile. Naruto smiled as he leaned next to her. I think that we should too. Back with the others. That was a good sleep, Neji said as he got up and stretched. He looked to see the others waking up also. Who knew so little hours of sleep could make you feel so refreshed, Tenten said as she rubbed her eyes and smiled. As everyone got up, they all noticed that Naruto and Tsunade were gone. Hey, where are Naruto and Tsunade? Ino said as she alerted everyone. Everyone nodded their heads that they didn't know. Neji and Hinata used their Byakugan and checked the surrounding areas. Both smiled as they saw Naruto and Tsunade walking back to the area. Oh, they are coming now, Hinata said to everyone. They all calmed down as the two blondes made their appearance. Tsunade-sama, where have you been? Shizune asked, still half asleep. Tsunade smiled as she looked at everyone. Everyone thanked Naruto-kun here. We have our next destination, Tsunade said to them. To say everyone was surprised was a little understatement. They were all downright shocked as Tsunade continued. It is probably the last place Konoha was to go to look for us, she said to them. So what is the place? Gaara asked. Tsunade and Naruto turned to Gaara and smiled. We are going to Iwagakure, Naruto said to everyone. Everyone gasped. Are you sure we should go there of all places? Neji asked. Everyone else nodded, worried. They had reason to be worried too. Konoha and Iwa have always been at each other's throats since the Third Great Ninja War. To house ex-shinobi of Konoha would seem unlikely. Well, it sounds like a good idea, I guess, but we should be prepared in case they don't allow us to stay, Shikamaru said to them. Everyone else agreed with him. Oh, don't worry. Me and Tsunade-chan have already come up with a backup plan in case that does happen, Naruto said as he reassured everyone. They all nodded and agreed. Gaara, what about you, Tamari, and Kankuro? Tsunade asked. Gaara looked at his siblings who nodded. We will go with you. We can't really go back to Suna, Gaara said with a shrug. Well, Harem that takes care of that. Shall we go there then? Naruto asked. Tsunade smiled. Why yes, Fox-sama. Let's go, Tsunade said as they grabbed their stuff. Everyone's eyes shot open at the words of affection. Harem, they said to themselves. Then they thought about Naruto name. Fox-sama. They all asked as they blushed. Naruto and Tsunade packed their stuff and were ready to go. Well, come on guys, let's go, Tsunade said. Everyone nodded to get their stuff together. Jiraiya summoned a messenger hawk and put a scroll inside. He then set the bird off. Might as well warn them that we are coming, he said as he grabbed his stuff also. Everyone was packed and began their journey to Iwa. Naruto, Tsunade and their group had decided to go to Iwa for safety from Konoha. As they traveled, everyone wondered about the possibility of a life in Iwa. Man, I never imagined that I would be going to Iwa for protection, Tsunade thought to herself as everyone rushed through the trees at an amazing speed. Of all places, I had to think of Iwa, Naruto thought as he stayed close to Tsunade. I remember the Chunin exams. I think I killed an Iwa nin for his scroll, Neji said as he felt discouraged. I wonder if Aiwa shinobi are as youthful as Konoha shinobi, Lee thought to himself. I hope we won't be a burden to Aiwa, Hinata thought to herself. This is the perfect time to look at standard Aiwa weaponry, Tenten thought. What type of bugs are in Aiwa? Shino thought. Everyone was either excited or scared of arriving at Aiwa. As everyone continued, they noticed that the place was becoming more humid. A strange mist was enveloping the area. I think we are almost there, Tsunade said to the group. Everyone gulped as they proceeded cautiously. Okay, everyone stay close, we don't want to be separated, Naruto said as everyone nodded. Even though they were in Aiwa territory, everyone, with some encouragement from Naruto and Tsunade, were able to relax and assume separate conversations. Seeing the perfect opportunity, Jiraiya decided to start his questioning. He motioned for Tsunade to come to the back. Tsunade grumbled, but complied, leaving a sad and lonely Naruto in the front. As Tsunade pulled to the back, Shizune went back also to engage in the conversation. Seeing the act, some of the genin went up to Naruto to engage in a conversation. As Tsunade came back to Jiraiya along with Shizune, Jiraiya began. Okay, I just have to know, Jiraiya said, about to go into someone else's business. Tsunade knew this was going to come sooner or later, so she prepared herself. You want to know what? She asked. Jiraiya took a deep breath as he began. Well, why Naruto of all people? He blatantly asked. Tsunade turned to Shizune, who nodded in agreement. Tsunade sighed as they began their talk. In truth, I don't know myself. He shattered all my emotional barriers and wormed his way into my heart. He reminds me of both my brother and my lover, but that isn't why I am with him. I love him. He is there for me. I just feel that I can lay all of my burdens on him and know that he will be there for me. He showed me that my love for him is normal. Love is found in all ages. Age is just a number, love isn't. His strong arms have comforted me in many ways that I could never have imagined. His kami-like body has showed me a pleasure not of this world. I now see that I can't live without him. I love him too much. Tsunade said as she finished her reasons. Jiraiya nodded at the reasons while Shizune smiled. Jiraiya could almost faint. He never knew Tsunade could have such feeling for someone again. In truth, he was sad that she fell for Naruto and not him, but was able to let it go. Though he still pestered with a few more questions. You do know that people will judge such a relationship, right? Jiraiya said, trying to make a point. Tsunade smiled as she looked at Jiraiya. Of course I know, but Naruto told me something for nice, it made me love him even more, Tsunade said to him. Jiraiya and Tsunade wondered what that could have been. Flashback. A few days ago. Naruto-kun, I have to ask you something, Tsunade said to him. Naruto turned around to face his woman as she looked at him. Naruto, you know people are not going to be accepting of this relationship, Tsunade began. Naruto nodded. He knew about society's standards on love, but that didn't bother him. What about it? Naruto asked. Well, what would we do if people found out? Tsunade asked. Naruto cupped his chin and thought. Well, if no one accepts it, we can always live our lives in solitude away from the public's opinion, Naruto said to her. Tsunade stared at him. And stared some more. Tsunade suddenly laughed as she grabbed her stomach. Naruto looked confused as to why she was laughing so hard. As Tsunade calmed down, she looked at her blonde. You really know the solution to our problems, huh? She said with a smile. Naruto smiled also. I have my moments, Naruto said to her. Tsunade laughed again. End flashback. He said that to you? Shizune asked in shock. Tsunade nodded with a smile. Yes, he did, Tsunade answered. That kid must really love you a lot, Jiraiya said to her. Well, I don't pick just anyone to whom I give my love to, Tsunade said to him. And besides, I have a little surprise for Naruto-kun, Tsunade said with a smirk. Shizune smiled as she remembered Tsunade's surprise for Naruto. She and Tsunade had spent nearly every week at night practicing this new jutsu in secret. No one knew what this surprise could be. So how big is this surprise? Jiraiya asked. Tsunade turned to him. Oh, it is a big surprise, Tsunade said to him. Jiraiya had a confused look. Shizune turned to Tsunade. So when do we use it? She asked. When it is completed, which might be in a few weeks, Tsunade said to them. With Naruto and the others. Okay Naruto, we gotta talk now, Kiba said to a startled Naruto. He noticed everyone else around him nod. Naruto sighed as he nodded his head. Okay, what is it you wanna talk about? He asked. Ino began the interrogation. We need to talk about why you are in love with someone 40-some years older than you, Ino blatantly said. Naruto sighed as he began. Look guys, I love her, so what, why are you people so against it? He asked. Kiba gasped. Because it is sick man, she is old enough to be your grandmother, he said. Naruto shot him a glare of death at the way he addressed his blonde. Look Kiba, I don't care what your society thinks, I love her and that is all. I don't care if you don't want to see us together, we are so either you people deal with it or I will deal with you, Naruto said. Kiba backed up and hid behind Shikamaru. Sorry man, meant no disrespect, Kiba said behind a tired Shikamaru. Naruto nodded. It's alright Kiba, but don't speak ill of the woman I love, Naruto said to them. Age is just a number to me, love has many infinite possibilities, I believe one's love isn't determined by their age. Naruto said to them. Everyone gasped at the wisdom Naruto appeared to be showing. But why Tsunade of all people? Tenten asked. Naruto turned to her. Hehe, I have no idea. She seemed to cloud my every thought. Ever since I learned of her past, I felt that I could be there for her. I could ease her pain and see that she could love again. In truth, I didn't plan to fall in love with her, but before I knew it, I suddenly loved her with all my heart. It's weird that I planned for her to love again, but I came to love her before she loved me. Regardless of that, I love her. Her smile, her power, her heart, her soul, her personality, I love it all. Naruto said to them. The guys smiled and the girls were nearly on the verge of tears. That was so beautiful, Ino said to him. Hinata and Tenten nodded. Man, I can't say anything after that, I fully support you guys, Kiba said to them. Neji nodded as did everyone else. Thank you everyone, Naruto said. Neji suddenly said something. Just promise me something, he said to the blonde. Sure, what is it? Naruto asked. Neji grabbed Naruto's collar and looked him dead in the eyes. Please, I beg of you, keep the noise at night to a minimum, that is all I ask, Neji said as he comically cried. Naruto looked at Neji and smiled. I will try Neji, but I can't promise that, Naruto told him. Just try in any case, please I like to sleep, Neji said to him. Alright, I promise, but I am not sure how long that will hold, Naruto said to him. What about your Nindo, you never go back on your word, right? Tenten said with a smirk. Naruto looked at her. Yeah, I suppose, alright Neji, we will keep it down, Naruto said to him. Neji breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, I am happy now, Neji said to him. Gaara turned to Naruto. But what about the age difference? He asked. Naruto turned to him and smiled. Oh that, well I have a big surprise for you guys, Naruto told them. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. In his mind Naruto heard a smirk from a certain fox demon. I would still like to thank you for this Kyuubi, Naruto said to his Biju. Kyuubi nodded though Naruto couldn't see it. Yeah Gaki, it is okay, but stop calling me Kyuubi now, I don't hate you so you are privileged to use my official name, Kyuubi said to him. Naruto became wide-eyed. Oh, and what name is that? He asked. Kyuubi smirked. My name is Hina, Kyuubi said to him. Naruto looked in confusion. But that is a girl's name, Naruto said to it. Kyuubi smiled. Yeah, about that. Well, you're female, Naruto shouted in his mind. Hina smiled. Yes, I am. I am Hina, the Kyuubi no Yoko, Hina said to him. Naruto smiled. Well then Hina-chan, I thank you for your help, Naruto said to her. Hina smiled. Even demons have compassion for love, Naruto-kun, Hina said to him. Naruto smiled. He decided something great. Naruto focused for a bit while he walked. He entered his mindscape. Mindscape of Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto came to see the sewer-like mind he had as he came to Hina's cage. Hina smiled. And to what do I owe the honor of my new friend in this place? Hina asked. Naruto smiled as he looked at her. Well, I just thought to change this place for you. It must be frustrating to be in here, Naruto told her. Oh, it really is, Hina said to him. Naruto smiled as he turned around. Well, let me do something about that, Naruto said as he turned around. He focused for a while. He imagined a lush field of floors, a waterfall and river, plenty of little foxes to keep her company. Naruto closed his eyes. Hina gasped. She saw the cage disappear and saw that the seal form a collar around her neck. She saw all the beauty of the place Naruto prepared for her. Naruto opened his eyes and smiled. Not bad if I do say so myself, he said as he turned around. He soon saw the fox demon replaced with a beautiful woman. She had crimson hair that flowed down to her waist. She had very tight curves and at least a D cup in size. Her eyes were red slits, but still expressed happiness. As Naruto examined her, he got knocked out of his daze by a tackle. Thank you so much, Naruto-kun, I love it, Hina said to him. Naruto smiled. Not finished yet, Hina-chan, he said as he got up. Naruto imagined one last thing. After a while it came into view. A house that seemed to be of a fancy family home. It had 16 slide doors and 8 separate rooms, including a master bedroom and a few other places. Hina fell to the ground. Wow, Hina said as she stared at the house. I hope you like it, Naruto said to her. Hina tackled Naruto again. I love it, Naruto-kun, thank you from the bottom of my heart, Hina said as she ran to explore the house. Naruto got up. Well, I have to go. Enjoy the place, Hina-chan, Naruto said to her. Hina smiled as nodded. Hina-chan, please come here, Naruto said to her. Hina came over to him as he looked at her. One last gesture, he said as he touched her collar. He tore a piece of the collar seal off. There, now you can communicate with me easier, and you can sense the outside world through me, Naruto told her. Hina squealed. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Hina said as she ran to explore the house. Naruto smiled as he left. Back in the real world, Naruto opened his eyes and adjusted them to the light. Everyone was back to their original conversations as they walked to Iwa. 3 hours later, soon everyone came to see a village as the mist began to clear. Tsunade smiled and so did everyone else. Finally made it, Kiba said to himself. 3 hours of pure walking, thank Kami it is over, Tenten said as she was dead tired. As the group came up to the gates, they were stopped by Iwa shinobi. Halt, state you business here, one of them demanded. Naruto leaned next to Tsunade. Touchy aren't they? He asked. Tsunade smirked. No kidding, she said to him as Jiraiya stepped forward. I am the Toad Sage, Jiraiya, I sent a message to Iwa a few weeks ago, he said to the guard. The guard looked at the group and nodded. Yes, we have been expecting you, he said as the gates opened. As the group of shinobi passed the gate, they looked around. The place was surrounded by narrow rock formations and seemed to provide more than enough defense. It was a natural stronghold. So the people here specialize in earth jutsu, huh? Shikamaru asked. Tsunade nodded. Yes, and along with that comes the stubbornness of some of their ninja. They follow any order given, even to the point of death, Tsunade said to everyone. The guard escorted the group to the Tsuchikage as they came in to see the short man doing paperwork. Well, if it isn't the former Hokage of Konoha, Onoki said as he smiled. Tsunade resisted the urge to punch him. Hey Onoki, I see you are doing well, Tsunade said to him. Yes, I am, so what is it you want? He asked, trying to get to the point. Tsunade breathed and began. We would like to join the ranks of Iwagakure Onoki, Tsunade said to him. Onoki smiled. You are ex-shinobi of Konoha, why should I give you help here? He asked. Tsunade faltered a bit. He was right. He didn't have a reason to keep them or protect them. Well, we are all strong and being added to your forces would benefit you a lot, Tsunade said to him. Onoki had to admit that it was a good point. To have Tasanin members and all the clan heads of Konoha on his side would be very beneficial. The clan heads here would love to join your ranks if they can, Tsunade said to him. The group bowed as they nodded that they would be more than happy to be under his command, which was a downright lie. Onoki thought it over. I don't know, I might need a bit more convincing, he said to her. Tsunade didn't want to bring this out. It was a last resort, but the safety of the group was to come. She knew that this might destroy her relationship with Naruto. Well, how about Yondaimi's son, here Naruto Uzumaki, Tsunade said reluctantly. Onoki, Naruto, the Genin and Shizune all gasped. Jiraiya face-palmed himself. No, not that, damn, he thought. Onoki stood up. Yondaimi's son, Minato Namikaze's son, Naruto Uzumaki, I like it, you have yourself a deal on one condition, he said to her. By this time Naruto was in complete shock. He was the fourth son. The village hero was his father. Yondaime is my father, I am his son, Naruto said as tears left his eyes. Tsunade didn't notice the tears and went on with the conversation. What is the condition, Onoki? Tsunade asked, afraid of the condition. Onoki confirmed her fear. Naruto Uzumaki is to marry one of my shinobi so the fourth's blood can be transferred to Iwagakure. If he doesn't already have a fiancée, then he will marry her, Onoki said as he brought a girl forward. The girl was light-skinned. She had a nice body. Her hair was green and short. She wore standard Iwa shinobi gear, but wore some fishnet clothes that revealed some cleavage. Naruto turned to her and gasped. He didn't want to marry anyone, but Tsunade. He thought she loved him, but it was obvious that if she had kept such a secret then she didn't love him after all. The girl turned to Naruto and smiled. Hello Naruto Uzumaki-san, I hope we have a happy life together, she said to him, leaving Naruto and the group stunned. Tsunade gasped as she looked at the woman. She now realized she had made a big mistake. Everyone had just finished discussing the terms of agreement with Onoki. Onoki agreed to protect everyone and was getting to the forms and signing them all in his Iwa shinobi. Everyone was happy to be protected, but no one had on the expression of joy. Everyone except Tsunade and Jiraiya had faces of pure shock. The container of the Kyuubi, the number on hyperactive knucklehead ninja, was the son of Konoha's most powerful shinobi. Naruto Uzumaki was the son of Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Everyone couldn't believe it. The village had treated Naruto so badly and some of them knew he was the fourth son. Obviously Naruto was taken back the most by the new information. All his life he wanted to know who his parents were, but no one ever told him. Now he knew. Everyone walked in silence as they headed to their place of lodging. No one felt like talking to anyone, much less Naruto and Tsunade. As they walked, Jiraiya brought Tsunade to the back of the group along with Shizune. Tsunade, what the hell went through your mind when you said that? Jiraiya whispered, but still didn't lessen the venom in his voice. Tsunade looked at him. I don't know, I wanted to keep everyone safe and Onoki needed one more push so I just said that, Tsunade told him. Jiraiya shook his head. You know, when you claimed to be his girlfriend I thought you would truly love him, but I see that you don't, Jiraiya said with an accusation. Tsunade turned to him. What are you talking about? I do love him, with all my heart I do, Tsunade protested. I find it hard to swallow, Tsunade-sama, Shizune said as she held Tun-Tun. Why is that, Shizune? Tsunade asked, confused. Tsunade-sama, you used Naruto-kun like a bargaining chip. No woman who truly loves their man bargains them like a piece of property, Shizune told her. But I thought it was for the best interests of the group, Tsunade told them. Jiraiya and Shizune did nod their heads. Tsunade did get the protection that everyone wanted, but the way she went about it was definitely wrong. I know that, Tsunade, but now you will have to explain all of this to Naruto. Now he deserves to know. Plus I think you hurt him when you didn't ask him, he minded being bargained, Jiraiya told her. But listen Tsunade, I don't know how much Naruto trusts you, but after that stunt he definitely trusts you less, Jiraiya said as he walked ahead. Tsunade held her head down. She knew Jiraiya was right. She had just bargained the man who loved her, the man who she loved, the man she claimed to love with all of her heart. Tsunade remembered her speech to Jiraiya and Shizune about her love for Naruto. Tsunade cried as she realized she had just refuted that entire speech in one action. I am sorry Naruto, I have made a mistake, Tsunade said to herself. The group continued to walk until they came up to their place. It was very big. I was more than able to meet everyone's needs. Everyone could have their own rooms or have their rooms combined for couples. Everyone entered the house and looked around. This was a very big house. It took everyone at least 2 hours to memorize everything in the room. After the memorization, everyone came to the main hall of the house. Everyone sat down for their discussion. Alright everyone, we now have Iwa's protection, but we will now be in service of Iwa, Tsunade said. Everyone nodded as they listened, though some of the group were looking at Naruto, who had on a blank face. Tsunade turned to Naruto with a bit of worry. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Tsunade asked. Naruto turned to her and smiled. Yes, I am fine Tsunade, Naruto said to her. Everyone became wide-eyed at the response. The regular chan suffix that Naruto used was gone. Tsunade felt her heart crumble when she heard those words. She turned to Jiraiya who nodded his head. Tsunade took a deep breath and began. Naruto-kun, I want you to know that I didn't mean to use you the way I did in the office, Tsunade said. Naruto looked at her and smiled. Oh, that is quite alright Tsunade. I could see why you did, it was all for our group, you don't need to apologize, Naruto told her. Tsunade still clutched her heart. She missed being called Tsunade-chan by her blonde. Naruto seemed emotionless and they continued to talk. I would have just thought that my girlfriend would have told me about my past, but I guess not, Naruto said as he got up and left. Everyone looked at Tsunade who had a pained expression. What have I done? She asked herself. Jiraiya put his hands on Tsunade's shoulder. Listen Tsunade, it isn't going to be easy to repair his trust in you, you will have to work at it, Jiraiya told her. Tsunade nodded. She motioned for everyone to go. Everyone nodded as they left in silence, leaving Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Shizune in the room. With Naruto. Naruto walked out of the house and walked through the village. He looked around at the different citizens who roamed the Iwa territory. He even saw some really great ninja shops. Naruto decided to get some solitude as he climbed the mountains and sat in an open space. Naruto let a few tears fall down his face. How could you Tsunade? You were my girlfriend yet you trade me like a piece of property, Naruto said to himself in the silence. And on top of that, you knew my family and you didn't bother to tell me, Naruto said to himself again. Maybe she had a good reason Naruto-kun, Kyuubi said interrupting his thoughts. Naruto chuckled a little as he heard Hina stretch in the meadow of flowers. But what reason do you think she could have, Hina-chan? Naruto asked. Hina thought then came up with an answer. Well, I knew the fourth, he was a good man, he could always lighten to mood to any situation, but he could also be scary in a fight, Hina said as she smiled. Naruto had a confused look. What does that have to do with Tsunade not telling me? Naruto asked. Hina chuckled, but explained. Well Naruto-kun, Minato did have a lot of enemies because of his skills, such as Iwa. He was feared and received the title of Flea on Sight. He could bring any ninja to their knees, just by entering the battlefield. Now Naruto-kun, imagine if Iwa had known that you were the fourth son at a young age, Hina said trying to get Naruto to think, which seemed to be working. Iwa would have tried to kill me, because they would fear that I would become like my father, Naruto said finally connecting the dots. Hina nodded and smiled. Exactly. Maybe she didn't tell you because you were still too young and wanted to wait until you were at least able to handle yourself in front of you enemies, Hina said to him. Naruto smiled. And do I need to ask if I targeted you while you were, no correction, are dating Tsunade? Hina told him. Naruto realized it. You're right, I didn't see it, she was just trying to protect me. If she lost me then she might never fall in love ever again. I can't believe I was such a fool, Naruto said, berating himself. Hina chuckled. While I do believe that she should have told you, but at least she had her reasons for not telling you, Hina said to Naruto. Naruto smiled as he nodded. He felt much better and got up to find Tsunade. Thank you Hina-chan, Naruto said as he ran off. Hina smiled. Are you kidding? With how soft this bed is, I will do anything for you, she told him. Naruto chuckled as he ran back to the house. Everyone was still inside the house enjoying the quiet until Naruto came in. Where is Tsunade-chan? Naruto asked. Everyone looked at each other and pointed to the main hall. Naruto thanked them and ran off. He opened the door to a surprised Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya. Tsunade-chan, Naruto smiled as tears fell from his eyes. He ran and pounced on her. Both rolled across the mat as Naruto laid on top of Tsunade. Tsunade rubbed her head as she looked up at the blonde. Tears fell from her eyes as Naruto hugged her. She returned his hug as Jiraiya and Shizune smiled. As Naruto broke the hug, Tsunade looked up at him. Naruto-kun, I am so, she was interrupted by a sudden kiss to her soft lips. Tsunade cried a little as she submitted to the lips that she missed. Naruto kissed her like he had not seen her in years, though he was only gone for a few hours. Naruto broke Tsunade's lips as his tongue found hers and the two danced in their mouths. As Naruto let up on the kiss, he looked at a flushed Tsunade. Don't say anything Haim, I now know you did this for my benefit, I love you and my family history won't change that, just be more trusting of you Fox-sama, Naruto told her with a smile. Tsunade nodded. Alright, I am very sorry, my Fox-sama, I didn't want to hurt you, Tsunade told him. Naruto smiled. It's all fine Haim, just be more trusting of me as I am with you, he said as he led her up. As they turned to leave, they heard a tray fall to the ground. Everyone turned to see the girl that was to be engaged to Naruto in the doorway. Naruto turned to her and smiled. Sorry, but I can't marry you, this is the woman I love, Naruto said as he wrapped his hands around a blushing Tsunade. The girl stepped forward and hugged Naruto. Oh thank you, she said to a confused Naruto. Wait I don't get it. Naruto told her. She let him go. Oh sorry I am Yuri Tachibana, I am sorry it's just that I can't love you Naruto, I love someone else, I was coming to try to get you to go against the engagement, but now you already did, thank you, Yuri said to Naruto. Naruto nodded. Yeah I love Tsunade-chan and no one else, but you might want to let me go, Naruto told her. Yuri seemed confused. Why? She asked. Because someone doesn't like others touching her man, Naruto pointed to a smiling Tsunade who was cracking her knuckles. Yuri immediately let go and bowed. Please don't hit me, I am sorry, Yuri told Tsunade. Tsunade smiled as she stopped. Oh that's alright, but no more signs of affection with my Naruto-kun, Tsunade told her. Never. I don't love him, well I will go and spend my time with my beloved bye, Yuri said as she ran out the door. As everyone stayed in the room, Tsunade's face glowed as she turned to Naruto. Naruto-kun, let's go see Onoki, Tsunade said to him. Naruto looked confused. Why? He asked. I want you to trust me this time, Tsunade said as she dragged Naruto with her. Soon the entire group followed and left the house. Tsuchikage Mansion. Onoki was still signing papers for his new shinobi when he heard a knock. Come in, he said. Tsunade opened the door with her hand on Naruto and they appeared in his office. Tsunade, is there something else you wanted? Onoki asked. Tsunade smiled. Yes there is, I am sorry, but Naruto cannot get married to your shinobi, Tsunade told him. Onoki raised an eyebrow. Oh and why is that? As I recall I said if he is engaged he doesn't have to marry one of my shinobi, Onoki said with a smile. What he failed to see was Tsunade smiling. "Oh Onoki, didn't I tell you he is engaged?" Tsunade said to him. Onoki became wide-eyed. "Oh, and to who?" he asked. Tsunade turned to Naruto, who couldn't believe what she was about to say. She smiled as she turned back to Onoki. "To me, I am Naruto's fiancé," Tsunade said to him. Onoki laughed. "Yeah, right, Tsunade. Like you would marry this boy," he said as his laughter filled the room. Tsunade smiled. "Oh, wouldn't I?" she said to him. Onoki stopped laughing and was in shock as Tsunade turned to Naruto. "Naruto-kun, would you accept me as your wife?" Tsunade asked him. Naruto looked surprised, but quickly recovered and smiled. "Only if you will accept me as your husband, Tsunade-chan," Naruto told her. Tsunade smiled. "With all my heart do I accept, Naruto-kun," Tsunade said as she knelt down and kissed Naruto. Naruto smiled as he deepened the kiss between them. Both seemed to be in their own world as they forgot that they were in the presence of the Tsuchikage. As they parted, they looked at Onoki. He was pale and his soul was hanging out of his mouth. Tsunade and Naruto smiled. "Well, my fiancé, shall we go?" Tsunade asked. Naruto chuckled as he took her hand. "Yes, let's go, my fiancé," Naruto said as the two blondes walked out the room, leaving a pale Onoki in his seat. As they passed the door, they also smiled as they saw half of the group fainted and the other half blushed. Both ran off to have time to themselves. Naruto and Tsunade left the Tsuchikage's mansion in a very good mood. Both were laughing as they remembered the look of shock on Onoki's face. As they walked through the village, they went back to the house that had been prepared for them. "Man, Tsunade-chan, I can't believe his reaction to that," Naruto said as he smiled. Tsunade could barely control her laughing as she nodded. "I know, it was priceless," she said as she held his hand. "To think that lie actually worked," Naruto said to her. Tsunade stopped laughing and looked at Naruto. His face suddenly turned sad at the thought that Naruto didn't take her words seriously. Naruto turned around to see Tsunade's sad face and ran up to her. "Tsunade-chan, what is the matter?" Naruto asked. Tsunade looked at him and hugged him, surprising the blonde. "Naruto-kun, I hope you know that I wasn't lying when I said that," Tsunade told him as Naruto's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Naruto asked her with a glimmer of hope. Tsunade looked at him and chuckled. "Of course, Naruto-kun, I love you. Why shouldn't I spend the rest of my life with the person I love?" Tsunade said with a rhetorical question. Naruto looked down at the ground and smiled. Though the smile wasn't seen by Tsunade, who entered her own thoughts. "Oh no, what am I going to do? I just told him that. Is he going to hate me?" she thought as she looked at Naruto. As Tsunade was about to speak, she squealed as she realized she was lifted up by Naruto and came into his arms. Tsunade blushed as she looked at his face. Naruto didn't speak, instead he ran to the house much to Tsunade's astonishment. Shinobi House. As Naruto got home, he took of his and Tsunade's shoes. He then looked at her and smiled brightly. Tsunade looked confused as Naruto had carried her all the way from the village to their house. Naruto immediately took of for his room. As he entered his room, he gently placed Tsunade on her feet in his room. Naruto-kun, Tsunade was interrupted when Naruto ran out of the room. A few seconds later, Naruto came back and had a sign. He placed it on his door and closed it. After Naruto calmed down, he took a deep breath. After the breath, Naruto looked up and smiled. "Tsunade-chan," Naruto yelled as he pounced on her. As they both fell to the floor, Naruto's lips met hers and brought his arms around her. Tsunade was surprised by the action, but nonetheless submitted to the kiss. After Naruto broke the kiss, Tsunade had on a confused expression as she looked at her blonde. What was that for, Naruto-kun?" Tsunade asked. Naruto smiled as he wrapped his arms around Tsunade. "I am happy. You weren't playing. You would really want to marry me," Naruto said with a smile. Tsunade looked at him and smiled. "Of course I would. I love my fox Sama," Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled as he leaned his face dangerously close to hers. Then let me show you some love, Harem, Naruto said as with a smile. Tsunade's face suddenly grew dark red as she heard his statement. Tsunade didn't have the time to respond as Naruto brought his lips to hers and enjoyed their sweet taste. Tsunade felt Naruto's strong muscles wrap around her as she knelt to his lap. Naruto decided to have some fun as his tongue intruded into Tsunade's mouth. Tsunade's eyes grew wide as she realized Naruto's action. Soon she registered the motion and closed her eyes again. Naruto's tongue nurtured hers and the two swirled around in the mouths of the lovers. Tsunade's face was getting redder as she felt his passion wash over her. Tsunade had come to help weakness every time she was in his arms. Her eyes would go weak from the feeling. Soon Naruto broke the passionate moment between the two as they looked in each other's eyes. Tsunade-chan, will you let me show you my love? Naruto whispered in her ears. Tsunade's face grew even more red as she struggled to find her voice. Love me, Naruto-kun, I want you to love me, Tsunade said to him. Naruto complied as he began. Warning. All underage people clear the area. Naruto kissed Tsunade as he pushed her down to the floor. Naruto was now on top of Tsunade as he explored more of her mouth. He was able to even bring his tongue to touch the back of her mouth a few times. Tsunade moaned as she felt his warmth over her body. Naruto broke the kiss then nibbled on her ear. Tsunade trembled at the feeling of his warmth mouth on her ear. Naruto continued to nibble on her ear, until he brought his mouth down and began to kiss her neck. Tsunade felt so powerless when she was with him. She had the strength to make her own earthquakes, making people cowered in front of her, but here she was defenseless again, her blonde. As Naruto kissed her neck, he brought his hands down her body and stopped at her chest. Naruto smiled as he continued his pleasure session. Naruto uncovered her clothes to show her tight bra that held her in place. Naruto smiled as his ears took in the intoxicating moan that Tsunade was uttering. Naruto smiled as he laid Tsunade up on her knees. Naruto continued to kiss her neck as he maneuvered his hands and undressed her body. Naruto could see Tsunade's flushed face from the feeling of being at the mercy of someone. Does this feel good, Harem? Naruto teased. Tsunade moaned as she heard the tease Naruto said to her. It feels so good, I love it, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as she felt her mind slip into the ecstasy. Naruto smiled as he unclipped her bra and threw it on the bed. Tsunade squealed as she felt Naruto's soft hands on her body. Oh Naruto-kun, Tsunade said as she felt him knead her keists in his hands. Naruto always knew that Tsunade's Q were one of her weaknesses. Naruto brought his lips to Tsunade's as he continued to fondle with her tits. As she kissed Naruto, Tsunade had to separate to scream some pleasure and she felt Naruto fingers pinched her tits. Tsunade's head went back as she gasped. Naruto could only smile. These are so sensitive, I love the feel of them, Naruto said to her. Tsunade almost lost it. Naruto had gotten much better at teasing her. The way he even controlled her movements was astounding to say the least. Naruto pushed Tsunade back down as he brought his lips to her chest. Tsunade screamed as Naruto suddenly sucked on her. Tsunade was on the verge of an orgasm just from Naruto's teasing. Oh Naruto-kun, it feels great, give me more, Tsunade begged. Naruto smiled and complied with her wishes. Naruto brought one of his hands down as it touched and tickled Tsunade's body until it got down to its desired location. Naruto inwardly smiled as he separated Tsunade's legs and removed her last article of clothing. Tsunade flinched as she saw Naruto throw the clothing on the bed. Naruto's fingers touched Tsunade's soft spot as he continued to play with her. Naruto looked up to see Tsunade almost losing her mind. Naruto didn't want her to pass out and miss his pleasure, so Naruto did something to wake her up. As Tsunade was on the verge of fainting, her eyes suddenly shot open as her screams of pleasure filled the house. She looked to see Naruto had brought his face down and gently bit her. Tsunade couldn't control herself as she came. Naruto-kun, I'm coming, Tsunade said as she released her love into Naruto's mouth. Naruto happily took it all as he leaned up. He took a big gulp and swallowed all of her juices. So tasty, Naruto said to a reddened Tsunade. Tsunade smiled as she opened the walls of her to a blushing Naruto. Please take me Naruto-kun, you fiancé crazy, Tsunade said to him. Naruto nodded as he got his member ready to penetrate his new fiancé. Suddenly he stopped just inches away from her. Naruto formed an intense smile that made Tsunade shiver. She would always feel troubled when that smile came, but she wondered if this had to do with this pleasure session. Tsunade-chan, I just got an idea that will make you go wild, Naruto told her. Tsunade was now interested as she looked. Naruto did his hand signs. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said as two more clones appeared. Tsunade gasped. She knew what Naruto was plotting. He was literally going to her crazy. Naruto didn't give Tsunade the time to respond as he slammed his member into her vagina. Tsunade screamed as she was filled to the brim with his. Soon the other clones took part as they played with her body. One clone played with her while the other kissed her with lots of passion. Tsunade felt so much pleasure that she was coming without realizing it. Naruto continued to pound her faster and harder with each thrust. After the fill thrust, Naruto released inside her and set her down. Tsunade was exhausted from the session. Tsunade was about to be out cold until she was put on her hands and knees. She saw Naruto under her as she rested her body on him. Naruto smiled as he pumped her vagina with his, again causing the Sannin to moan even louder. Much to her amazement, one clone puts its inside her and started to rock her hard. Before Tsunade could register the act, her head was brought forward until she saw the other clone as it shoved its into her mouth. Tsunade felt so much pleasure from getting gang banged by Naruto. It felt wonderful and marvelous. Tsunade could feel that she was about to give out until the real Naruto grabbed her and brought her from her daze. Well, how do you like it, getting crazy? Naruto asked as he pounded her harder. Tsunade struggled to speak and the constant feeling of being filled in both holes wasn't helping at all. Tsunade suddenly let all of her emotions out from the ecstasy. Oh Kami, this is wonderful. I love this feeling, it feels like I am going to break. I love this, Tsunade screamed at the top of her voice. Naruto smiled as he realized he was getting close. Naruto went faster as Tsunade's moans got louder. After the final thrust, Naruto came again, as did the clones. All three filled her to the brim with their white milk as she drank the juice. Tsunade panted as she was let down and the clones disappeared. Naruto laid down exhausted also. Tsunade looked at Naruto and smiled. Oh Kami, I love him, thank you so much for this, Tsunade said in her thoughts. Naruto turned to her and smiled. Tsunade smiled back. She couldn't hold it anymore. A few weeks felt too long. She was going to show her surprise to Naruto today. Naruto-kun, I have a surprise for you later today, I know you will enjoy it, Tsunade said to him. Naruto looked at her in confusion and smiled. And I have a surprise for you later, Tsunade-chan, you will be surprised, Naruto said to her. Tsunade looked at him in confusion. Then she smiled and nodded. I look forward to it, Tsunade said as the two of them fell asleep on the floor. Naruto soon followed as the two slept quietly in Naruto's room. Back in Konoha, Danzo was feeling more and more frustrated with Naruto and Tsunade. He spent nearly every resource available to find them, but they disappeared from the eye of every Konoha shinobi. Whenever Danzo sent out shinobi to capture the demon and his protector, they would either be defeated or would say they couldn't find them. Danzo felt the patience of Konoha's citizens slipping every day. He had always heard the rants of people for Naruto's death or for his head on a platter. The way the two avoided him was staggering. As Danzo sat in his chair, someone came through the door. Danzo-sama, how has the search for that lame piece of trash in Tsunade? A pink-haired girl asked her Hokage. Danzo sighed. I don't know what to tell you, Sakura. They have disappeared, but rest assured, we will find them and we will kill them both, Danzo said with a chuckle. Sakura smirked also. She was finally happy to her that they would kill them. The way she figured it, the reason Sasuke left was because of Naruto. If Naruto died, then her precious Sasuke-kun would come back to her. Sakura cracked her knuckles. Oh, I am looking forward to their deaths. Then Sasuke-kun will come back, Sakura said with a slight blush. Danzo's sweat dropped. Even if they did kill Naruto and Tsunade, he wasn't going to allow that brat of an Uchiha back into the village. Danzo simply nodded as Sakura left in a good mood. Danzo suddenly smirked as she left. Dream on, fangirl. That Uchiha is never getting back into these walls, Danzo said in his thoughts as he sat in his chair thinking of where the demon Spawn and Sanin could have gone. As Sakura left the mansion, she walked down the streets of the darkened Konoha. Life went by as usual, except people were a lot more cruel to each other. Crime seemed to be the main thing appearing the most in Konoha. Because a majority of shinobi resigned as shinobi, the crimes increased. Of course, that didn't stop some civilians from protecting the weaker ones. Hey, you trash, why are you trying to assault that woman? Kakashi asked with a glare. The man laughed as he held the woman. Get your own bitch, man. This flower is mine, he said as he licked the side of her cheeks. Kakashi closed in on the man and took out a kunai. I guess you don't want that tongue then, Kakashi said as he sped so fast that the man didn't see what happened. The man suddenly screamed as he saw blood drop from his mouth. Damn you, he yelled as he screamed. Kakashi stabbed him with the kunai as he fell down dead. He went to the woman and held out his hand. Are you okay, miss? He asked. The woman nodded and took his hand. Thank you very much, she said as she ran off. Kakashi sighed. This shouldn't be an everyday thing, Kakashi said to himself. He, Asuma, Guy, Kurenai, Anko, Hana, and Yugo all agreed to try and keep the crime rates down as an act of self-interest. They seemed to be doing a good job, but the crimes just kept coming. Sigh, ever since you two left, this place has become so dark and gloomy, it is nerve-wracking, Kakashi said as he shushined out of the area. Back in Iowa, 4 hours later, Naruto and Tsunade groggily got up as they saw it was nighttime. They got dressed and headed out of the room. As they made their way to the meeting hall, they came to see everyone sitting in a circle in the room. What are you guys doing? Naruto asked. Everyone looked at Naruto and smiled. Oh, nothing, it's just that as we walked back to the house we all heard you, Kiba said to them. Both blushed. They didn't know they were being so loud. Jiraiya got up and put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Good job, my pupil. Good job, I am so proud, Jiraiya said as he comically cried. Tsunade grew a vein as she punched Jiraiya to the floor. Everyone sighed and turned back to the circle. Tsunade smiled. Well, Naruto-kun, I will give you my surprise now, Tsunade said with a smile. Everyone's ears perked up at the new information. Naruto smiled as he waited. Everyone shifted their gazes to Tsunade, who walked over to a side of the room. Shizune became wide-eyed. Tsunade-sama, are you going to use that now? Shizune asked. Everyone turned to each other and looked back. They were more than interested this time. Use what? They all wondered as Tsunade smiled. Tsunade shook her head. Yes, I am, Tsunade said as she did her hand signs. Soon chakra appeared around her body as she closed her eyes and concentrated. All those medical books and all that research with Shizune led up to this point. Tsunade smiled as she focused on her new jutsu. She knew this was going to be a permanent change, but she could deal with it. As the chakra picked up, everyone had to cover their eyes. Everyone except Neji, who activated his Byakugan. What he saw shocked him. He saw Tsunade's muscles, her body, her organs, everything was getting smaller. Tsunade smiled as she got all the required chakra. Okay, for Naruto-kun, Tsunade thought to herself. Tsunade opened her eyes and yelled. Ninpo. Jidai no Kami no Gyukuden, ninja art. God's reversal of age, Tsunade yelled as a bright light flowed around her, brightly blinding everyone with its light. Everyone closed their eyes as they waited for the light to die down. After 7 minutes of an intense light, the rays slowly disappeared. Naruto and his friends looked up and what they saw brought their mouths to the ground. "TT Tsunade-chan, is that really you?" Naruto asked. "Yes Naruto, this is me," Tsunade said with a smile. Naruto's mind tried to process what happened. "That isn't a henge?" Naruto asked again. "No this isn't, it is real," Tsunade said to him. Naruto could nearly faint. 7 minutes ago, a woman in her 50s was before him, but now a woman in her early 20s was standing in front of him. How? I mean how did you?" he tried to ask. Tsunade smiled. "I would love to explain," Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled, but he stopped before she could talk. Tsunade now had a confused look. Naruto could tackle her right now, but it was his turn. He turned to his friends. "Anyone what you take a giant leap with me?" he asked them. Everyone looked at each other. Some were skeptical, but they all complied. "All right Naruto," they all said as they got up. Naruto nodded. "Just so you know there is no going back, will you still do this with me?" Naruto asked them. Everyone felt their determination waver for a bit, but stood steadfast and nodded. "Bring it on," they said to him. Naruto smiled. "All right, it might hurt a bit," he told them. Everyone complied nonetheless. Naruto turned to Tsunade. "Tsunade-chan, what I am about to do is my surprise to you, but it will hurt me and my friends, but you must promise me that you won't interfere with this," Naruto told her. Tsunade thought. She didn't want to see Naruto hurt, but he seemed so sure of himself. Tsunade grumbled, but complied. Shizune nodded also and so did the now awake Jiraiya. Naruto nodded. "Alright you guys gather around me," he said as his friends all came around him. Everyone took a deep breath and was ready for whatever Naruto had for them. Naruto smiled as he mentally signaled Hina. "Is everything in order Hina-chan?" Naruto asked. Hina smiled though Naruto couldn't see it. "Ready when you are Naru-kun," Hina said to him. Naruto smiled and nodded. "Okay let's do it," Naruto told her as he clasped his hands. Hina smiled as she clasped her hands also. Soon Yuki was flowing out of Naruto's body. Naruto could see himself and his friends take in the aura as it disappeared into them all. Naruto breathed as he knew what was next. Hina smiled. "Well good luck with the pain Naru-kun," Hina said to him. Naruto chuckled. Tsunade saw the red chakra go into Naruto and his friends as they three adults waited patiently. Soon all the presence of the Yuki disappeared. Everyone wondered what type of pain was coming. Naruto opened his eyes. Now, he thought. As soon as he said those words, himself and everyone fell to the floor in pain. Everyone trembled as they felt like their bodies were getting ripped in two. Tsunade was mentally shocked. She wanted them to stop, but remembered Naruto's words. She held fast to those words and waited. Shizune and Jiraiya didn't interfere, though every urge in their bodies told them to. After 5 minutes, the group was still on the ground as they felt the tremendous pain in their bodies. The Yuki was breaking down their bones and muscles and was replacing it with new longer ones. Every 30 seconds, the new bones grew and decayed replacing the old ones. Everything was being broken down and replaced at the molecular structure. Everyone was downright exhausted from the screaming and the pain. The pain for them was nearly unbearable, but they all tried to persevere. After nearly 2 hours, a little shined over everyone as Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya covered their eyes. After 5 minutes the light faded. The three opened their eyes. Naruto-kun, is that really you and your friends?" Tsunade asked. Shizune stared wide-eyed at what she saw. Jiraiya looked awestruck also. Everyone in the group smiled. "Yeah Tsunade-chan, it is me and my friends," Naruto told her. Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya were all staring at the surprise Naruto had shown them. Tsunade was drooling at the sight. Shizune held tauntaun and was wide-eyed. Jiraiya had his mouth to the floor, trying to contemplate what happened. Naruto and his friends smiled as they stepped out of the light. Naruto-kun, is that really you?" Tsunade asked. Shizune and Jiraiya nodded with the same curiosity. Naruto smiled as he stepped forward. Yes, Tsunade. It is me and my friends, Naruto said to her. The three adults could faint. The last thing they remembered were 13 to 14-year-old kids in the room undergoing unimaginable pain, but now stood Naruto and his friends in their late teens. Everyone smiled as they looked over the changes. Everyone's outfit from a few minutes ago were gone and were replaced standard Iowa shinobi outfits. Naruto smiled as he talked to Hina. Hina, why did it have to be Iowa? You could have been creative, Naruto said to her. Hina smiled as she sat on her bed. Well, Naru-kun, I was tired and didn't feel like going through all the process of making clothes, Hina said with a smile. Naruto mentally laughed. Well, in any case, I thank you for what you have done, Naruto said to her. Hina smiled and nodded though Naruto couldn't see it. My pleasure, Naru-kun, Hina said to him. Naruto nodded and disconnected from Hina. While she laid on the fine leather with a kit, she went to her own thoughts. Man, that kami-like body is amazing. Tsunade, you better enjoy Naru-kun, cause if you mess up I am pouncing on that kami of a man, Hina said in her thoughts. Naruto walked up to Tsunade as he measured their height. He was happy to say, he was now about her height. His eyes connected to hers. He didn't have to look up at her anymore. She didn't have to bend down to kiss him. Tsunade for once could see clear into his eyes. His eyes entranced her, showing their azure color. As Tsunade took in his form, she could only heavily blush at it. The muscles, the abs, the hot body. Everything made Tsunade nearly fainted from his presence. So Harem, how do I look? Naruto asked as waiting for her opinion. Tsunade snapped out of her gaze and looked at Naruto. Tsunade only stood silent for a minute to look at him some more. After that minute, Tsunade rushed Naruto and kissed him as they fell to the floor. Tsunade gave Naruto one of the deepest kisses he had ever felt. After she broke the kiss, Tsunade looked at her blonde and smiled. This man, this kami-like body, it is all mine, Tsunade shouted up and down in her thoughts. Naruto smiled as Tsunade allowed him to get up. After everyone took a breather to examine the changes, they all sat on the floor with Tsunade leaning on Naruto. Now was the time for questions. Explain now, mister, Tsunade said with a grin. Everyone nodded and turned to Naruto. Naruto smiled. Seeing as how you went first, you should explain first, Harem, Naruto told her. Tsunade looked at him and smiled. Yeah, alright, I suppose that is fair, she said to him. Everyone turned to Tsunade as she began. The day that me and Naruto-kun went back to Konoha for my medical books was all for the purpose of this jutsu. It is able to take the chakra in one's body and makes the cells in the body reverse their roles. This caused the body to move backwards in age. The body and all of its contents are reduced to the desired age of the person who uses this jutsu. It also allows the user to keep their current chakra reserves and power. It is a great anti-aging jutsu. Only myself and Shizune can use it, as we are the only ones who made it. The only drawback is that it requires a large amount of chakra to do. Tsunade finished talking as she looked at everyone's reaction. Everyone was rather impressed with her jutsu, especially Ino, Hinata, and Temari. Well, that is certainly a handy jutsu, Harem, Naruto said as he broke the silence. Tsunade ruffled his hair as she leaned on him. I made it for us, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled. And I am very happy that you did, Naruto told her. Everyone nodded. Soon all eyes were on Naruto for his explanation. Naruto gulped at the intense stares from the group as he explained. Well, to sum everything into words, I am able to talk to the Kyuubi. Her name is Hina and, Naruto was stopped by Kiba. You can talk to the Kyuubi? He asked. Naruto nodded. That's right, I think this is for all Jinchuriki, right Gaara? Naruto asked. Gaara smiled and nodded. That is right, all Jinchuriki are able to speak with their Biju, he explained. Everyone nodded. Alright, Naruto-kun, continue please, Shizune said to him. Everyone nodded. Tsunade felt a bit uneasy with someone else calling her blonde. Naruto-kun, but since it was Shizune she let it go. Naruto smiled as he continued. Before he did, Jiraiya spoke. But isn't the Kyuubi male? He asked. Everyone sighed. They just wanted Naruto to explain the jutsu to them. Naruto turned to Jiraiya. No, Jiraiya, the Kyuubi is female, is that a problem? Naruto asked. Jiraiya shook his head. No, it's just that I figured the strongest Biju in the world would be male, he said to them. Tsunade, Shizune, Hinata, Temari, Ino, and Hina all grew a vein on their heads as they heard Jiraiya's comment. Naruto-kun, tell that pervert that he would do well to remember who he is talking about, Hina said to Naruto. Naruto smiled. Jiraiya, Hina just said to watch your mouth or she will show you personally why she is the strongest Biju, Naruto told him. Jiraiya stiffened. He didn't want to be on the receiving end of that much torture. Gee, got it, I will be quiet now, Jiraiya said to them. The girls smirked and nodded their heads. Neji sighed. Now Naruto, please finish, Neji said to him. Naruto nodded. Anyway, as I was saying, when Tsunade-chan and I got together, I also wondered about the age difference and felt it would be a problem. Suddenly I got the idea of having Hina help me in my problem. I asked her if she could do anything about it. She said that it was possible for her, but it would take some preparation for her. So I allowed her to do the necessary things in order to get ready. When she told me she was ready to go, I consented. I felt it would be weird for me to be the only one of the genin to age, so I asked if the others wanted. They all consented and we got her. Hina's Yuki was able to float out of the seal and enter everyone's body. From the inside, the Yuki was destroying and reviving the body. It would destroy and rebuild all of the contents of the body, making it taller to the desired age. We all have to bodies of 19-year-olds, but our mental age doesn't change. We are all still 13 to 14 years old in our minds. Naruto finished as he looked at the reaffirming grins. Everyone smiled as they got up. Yeah, I am tall, Tenten said to herself. The group was happy as they all looked over their bodies again. Naruto forgot one more thing. Oh, and guys, Naruto said to them. Everyone stopped gazing at their bodies and turned to Naruto. Hina just told me something. She said that your stamina and your power have just doubled, Naruto told them. Everyone jumped for joy, but suddenly felt very tired. Oh man, I had so much energy, why am I so tired now? Kiba asked. Naruto smiled. Oh, that is because of the process to get that body. Wouldn't you be tired after being in pain and screaming for more than 2 hours? Naruto asked. Everyone face faulted and nodded. Yeah, that is true. Well, I am dead tired, I am going to bed, Neji said to them. Everyone nodded and went off to their respective rooms. Naruto laughed as he heard them all yawn in exhaustion. As he laughed, Naruto began to yawn also, which caused Tsunade to smile. You tired, Naruto-kun? Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled. I suppose I am. 2 hours of pain, does that to someone? Naruto said to her. Tsunade chuckled. Then let's go to bed, it is pretty late now, Tsunade said to him. Naruto yawned one more time then smiled. Yeah, let's go home, Naruto told her. Tsunade nodded as she helped her man up and the two walked out of the room. Jiraiya and Shizune soon followed out. As everyone went to bed, sleep suddenly claimed everyone. Naruto and Tsunade fell asleep, but before they did, Naruto turned to Tsunade. I did this for you, Tsunade-chan, I love you, Naruto said with a sleepy smile. Tsunade chuckled as she laid in her blonde's arms. I love you too, Naruto-kun, I am glad you did this for me, Tsunade said as she fell asleep. Naruto stayed awake for one more good night. Again, thank you, Hina-chan. Good night, Naruto told her. Hina smiled as she also climbed in bed. You are always welcome, Naru-kun. Good night, she said as she dozed off. Naruto smiled as sleep claimed all in the shinobi house. Next morning, Naruto woke up to the cloudy village of Iwa. Being at the mountains, clouds were a common thing. As he got up, Naruto looked at the clouds. I guess this place is perfect for Shikamaru, Naruto said to himself. Naruto turned to see his new blonde in the bed sleeping soundly. Naruto smiled as he gave her a quick kiss which caused her to squirm. Naruto-kun, I love you, Tsunade said in her sleep. Naruto chuckled. A month ago, I would think that she would have said those words to me, Naruto said to himself. Naruto left the room and went to go get washed. As he went out he saw the guys get up too. Oh, it seems that all the guys are up, Naruto said with a smile. Everyone nodded. Yeah, I haven't slept that good in a while, Kiba said as he stretched. Everyone nodded. All the guys laughed as they entered the washroom. The bathroom was pretty big. It was able to fit multiple people in the bath. To all the guys, it wasn't a bathroom, it was a hot spring. Everyone took their towels and went inside. As they guys got comfortable they all decided to talk. I still can't believe I will let us stay, Shikamaru said to them. All the guys nodded. I know, it makes me wonder at times, Neji said. Well, we are safe from Konoha at least, Choji said to them. Everyone happily nodded. No kidding, that place must be downright terrible now, Kiba said to them. Yeah, but there still are a few good people there, I guess, Naruto defended. Everyone looked at him and looked down. Yeah, it had its good people, didn't it? Kiba said to them. Everyone nodded. Soon everyone started thinking about their past lives. Suddenly, Naruto's eyes shot up. Oh yeah, I never got to ask, Naruto said to them. Everyone looked at him in confusion. Naruto turned to Gaara. Gaara, why are you, Kankuro, and Temari here? Naruto asked. Everyone's eyes shot opened. That was a very good point. Gaara sighed. Well, I would have to saw that I wasn't very much liked in Suna either. They are probably looking for us also, but it doesn't matter. I talked to Shikaku and he is quite an okay guy when he wants to be. He said I could just unleash him and he will just use a giant sand burial and kill them, Gaara said with a smile. Everyone laughed. Sounds about right, Naruto said to him. Take that Suna, Kiba said to them. All the guys laughed as they decided to leave. They had stayed in the shower long enough. As Kiba reached for the door, he opened it to the wrong person. Well, I think it's time to go. Let's go get something to eat. Oh, Kiba said as he opened the door to see Temari undressing. Kiba looked to see Temari had on some red panties and red bra as she looked at Kiba in shock. Kiba quickly closed the door and looked at the guys. Everyone, I regret to inform you that Temari will kill me, Kiba said with horror in his face. Everyone looked confused as Shikamaru opened the door. He saw Temari with her giant fan as she saw the fan unleashing a gust of wind. Pervert, Temari yelled as the burst of wind hit Shikamaru, who was sent flying. As he landed in the water, Shikamaru sighed as he sank to the bottom. This is why women are troublesome, Shikamaru said as he passed out. All the guys looked at Temari. Temari saw Kiba and ran after him. Get back here, Kiba, it's time for yours, Temari said as she chased Kiba. Kiba was able to maneuver past Temari and got to the door and closed it. Temari ran after Kiba, leaving all the guys stunned. I will pray for you, Kiba, Naruto said as he clapped his hands and said a prayer. All the guys did the same and left the washroom. As Kiba ran through the house, he didn't realize he was still in his towel and he crashed into an unsuspecting Hinata. Ouch, that hurt, Kiba said as he felt something in his hand. The thing was soft and squishy. Kiba looked up and gasped. He had ran into Hinata. As Temari came, she had a greater look of shock. Why you damn pervert, Temari said to him. Kiba flinched. Hinata woke up with something on her chest. She adjusted her eyes and saw Kiba on her. Kiba-kun, what are you? She said as she looked down. She saw Kiba's hand on her chest as she screamed. Everyone heard the scream and ran for Hinata. As everyone came, they all gasped. Kiba, how could you? Choji said to him. I expected more from you, Naruto said. Lady Hinata, what did you do, dog boy? Neji said as he charged at him. Kiba backed into a corner. No, it was an accident. I am sorry, Kiba said as Temari and Neji ganged on him. Kiba's screams could be heard throughout the village. 30 minutes later, breakfast was eaten in silence. As a blushing Hinata struggled to eat, Tamari ate with a scowl at Kiba. Shikamaru ate with a bandaged head. Kiba ate with many bandages on his face. As everyone ate, Tsunade and Naruto decided to go for a mission. Well, we will be back later. Everyone behave, especially you Kiba, Tsunade said with a snicker. Naruto nodded as the two went off. Tsuchikage Mansion. Onoki was busy doing paperwork as he finally got over the situation last time. Hee, those two got me good. Oh well, he said as he continued. Soon Naruto and Tsunade came in. Hey, can we request a mission? Naruto asked. Onoki looked up. He was confused. Who are you two? He asked. Naruto and Tsunade looked at each other and smiled. Oh, that's right. We didn't tell him, Tsunade said to her fiancé. No, I guess we didn't, Naruto told her. After a lengthy talk of explaining their appearances, Naruto and Tsunade got back to the reason they were there. So can we request a mission? Naruto asked. Onoki nodded. Yeah, fine, you will get an A- rank mission, Onoki said to them. Why is it so high? Tsunade asked. Not that she couldn't handle an A- rank, but she was worried about her blonde. It is that high, because I know you two are that strong, or at least I trust that much, he said to them. Both smiled and nodded. Good. This will be an investigation mission. I want you to go to Kumo. I had a rumor that Orochimaru is there. It can't be good, he said to them. Both agreed and nodded. Anyway, to find Orochimaru was always good to do. Good. You leave in an hour, he said to them. Both nodded and bowed. As Naruto left, Tsunade turned to Onoki. But why Naruto? She asked. Because I believe that Sasuke might be there with Orochimaru, Onoki said to her. Tsunade understood now. It was about Sannin versus Sannin and Genin versus Genin. This was undoubtedly an S-rank mission. Tsunade decided not to pester and left to get ready for the mission. Onoki smiled. I can't wait to hear the results of this one, he said as he continued his paperwork. Naruto and Tsunade just left the Tsuchikage's mansion and went home to pack for their mission. Both went through their thoughts about meeting with Orochimaru and Sasuke. A meeting with Orochimaru, I wonder if he will recognize little old me, Tsunade thought with a grin. Naruto was also in his own thoughts over the mission. Man, why do I have to meet with the Tem? He has the blessing of all of Konoha even after his betrayal, Naruto thought to himself. As the blondes walked through the village back to their house, both looked at the other and smiled. This is going to be fun. I can't wait to beat the crap out of the Tem, Naruto said to Tsunade. Tsunade nodded with a smile. I can't wait to show Orochimaru the new me, Tsunade said to him. Naruto smiled for two reasons. One, for the reaction the two would get from him and Tsunade, the second, from knowing he would use his new jutsu on the Tem. As Naruto and Tsunade entered the house, they saw everyone sitting at the table eating their food. Everyone, me and Naruto are going to be gone for a few days, we have a mission, Tsunade told them. Everyone looked at them then back at their food. So what type of mission is it? Jiraiya asked, curious of the details. Naruto smiled as he held out his thumb. It is an S-rank mission, Naruto said to them. Everyone became wide-eyed and spit out their food. Kiba looked at Naruto. Why do you get an S-rank mission? What about us? Kiba said with a finger of accusation. Tsunade smiled. It's because we know the assailants personally, Tsunade said to them. Kiba backed away and sat down, muttering things like, lucky bastards, under his breath. So who are you going up against? Hinata asked. Naruto and Tsunade's smile wavered as they wondered if they should say. Everyone looked up from their meals in angst. So who are you going to be facing? Neji asked. Everyone nodded their heads in anticipation. Tsunade breathed a sigh, as did Naruto. Orochimaru and Sasuke, they said to the group. Everyone turned silent as they processed the news. Jiraiya immediately got up in protest. No way, out of the question, you both can't do that, not by yourselves, Jiraiya said in anger. Naruto and Tsunade shook their heads. We are the only ones who can Jiraiya, Tsunade said in defense. Let someone else do it, you both could die, Shizune said to them. The thought of losing Naruto and Tsunade was too much to bear for her. Tsunade sighed. Shizune, I am a Sannin and Naruto Koi is a Jinchuriki, we will be fine, we aren't going to die, Tsunade said to them. Naruto gave them a reassuring grin. I will never let my Harem die, I swear it, Naruto told them. Tsunade blushed at the comment. And I am not letting Naruto Koi die, I swear it, Tsunade said to them. Everyone sighed as they nodded. Shizune and Jiraiya reluctantly nodded. If you die, I will bring you back and will show you how much being dead a joy, Shizune said to them. Both nodded and went to their room to pack. As they packed, they got on their battle clothes and went out of the house. Gates of Iwa. Naruto and Tsunade headed to the gates of Iwa. As they passed by they said goodbye to the gate guards. Both smile as they walked out of Iwa. Well Naruto Koi, are you ready to track down a snake and, she was interrupted by her blonde. And an emo Harem? Naruto asked. Tsunade laughed at the insult to Sasuke. Yes Naruto Koi, and an emo, let's go, Tsunade said to him. Naruto nodded. He gave her a quick kiss and the two left for their mission. Some of the villagers waved them goodbye and good luck on their mission. To everyone the group of Konoha had made the village more lively. Everyone was a lot more cheerful and even took more training seriously. The village itself wasn't so uptight anymore. People were actually starting to have fun thanks to the Konoha group. Naruto had made the most of an impression on everyone there. Sure everyone now knew he was the son of their most hated enemy, but they saw Naruto for himself and not just the Yondaime's kid, so no one held any prejudice about him. 4 hours later, Naruto and Tsunade were jumping through the trees at great speeds. Each was enjoying the feeling of the new body that they had. It seemed relatively easy to use. Not many difficulties as far as motor function and chakra control. Everything was working perfectly. As the group got up to a town near Kumo, they took the time to gather any info they could get out of people for their quarry. Hey Tsunade-chan, let's go into that bar, maybe we can get some info, and it will be like a mini date, Naruto told her. Tsunade looked at the place and nodded. Alright, let's go, Naruto Koi, Tsunade said as they stepped inside. As they sat at a table, both eat some food as they listened to people talk. They were especially interested in one particular conversation. Okay, that weird snake guy has asked us to bring the package, we deliver it 15 minutes, a man said to his friends. Everyone nodded in agreement and got up to leave. Naruto and Tsunade smirked. Well it seems we have found our snake Harem, Naruto said to her. Tsunade formed a smile and nodded. Well let's not keep our victims waiting. Let's go Naruto Koi, Tsunade said to him. Both got up and ran after the men making sure to keep their presence hidden. After 2 hours of trailing, Naruto and Tsunade stopped about 4 trees away from the meeting spot. You ready Naruto-kun? Tsunade asked. Naruto smiled. I'm always ready Harem, Naruto said to her. Both got ready for their fight. 25 minutes later, no snake or emo. 1 hour later, still nothing. Damn how long does it take for that damn snake to show up? Naruto asked. Tsunade nodded her head. I don't know, Orochimaru, and he is never really late, Tsunade said to him. Both decided to wait a bit longer. 25 minutes later, as both were about to leave, a shadowy figure came into the distance. He was over to the group to see the bandits in the correct spot. He walked over to the 3 men along with a man who was quite tall. He had black hair and who an attire similar to the Sound Ninja 4 that Naruto had faced before. Naruto looked at the man. Is that Sasuke? Naruto wondered. Tsunade wondered the same thing. Naruto was still mentally 13, so Sasuke should have still been 13 also or at least 14. Maybe he went through some enhancement when he went to Orochimaru. Tsunade wondered. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Oh well we will find out later, let's get ready, Naruto told her. Tsunade nodded. Orochimaru and Sasuke went down as they saw the men. Kukuku, so the delivery was a success. Orochimaru said to them. The men scoffed. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't, one of them said to him. Orochimaru laughed. No, I guess not. Here is your money, Orochimaru said with a large sum of cash. The men drooled over the money. One of the guys tossed a scroll to Orochimaru and he in turn tossed the money. Each grabbed their respective rewards and looked up. Pleasure doing business with you, they said to him. Orochimaru smiled. Oh, I regret to inform you, I am quite the cheater, Orochimaru said as he sent some snakes from his arms and devoured his contractors. Sasuke smiled as he picked up the money. Now Orochimaru wasn't mean, Sasuke asked. Orochimaru chuckled. Now Sasuke, betrayal is always around when someone least expects it, Orochimaru said oh him. Sasuke nodded. You have a point, now take me to get some more training, Sasuke ordered. Orochimaru slipped out his tongue and laughed. Very well Sasuke, let's go, Orochimaru said as they turned to leave. We will be more than happy to help you with that training, someone said, causing the two to turn around. Orochimaru and Sasuke looked to see a 23-year-old woman along with a 19-year-old man across the field. Sasuke smirked. It seems we have eavesdroppers, Sasuke said to Orochimaru. It would seem so, Orochimaru responded. Tsunade and Naruto chuckled. Nice to see you again Sasuke, Naruto said to him. Because of the age difference, Sasuke had no idea who the blonde was. Do I know you? He asked. Tsunade smiled also. How you been doing pedophile? Tsunade asked. Orochimaru seething. I don't know you. Hey, I am not a pedophile, Orochimaru roared. Naruto shook his head. Ahime, you pissed of the tem, Naruto said to her. Tsunade smiled. I know, and I enjoyed it, she said to him. I am sure you did, he said to her. Sasuke grumbled. So who are you two anyway? Sasuke asked. Both turned to him and smiled. I am hurt Sasuke, you don't remember me, Naruto fake cried. Orochi doesn't remember me, Tsunade said as she fake cried also. Soon both laughed. Let's give them some hints, Naruto told her. Tsunade nodded. Remember this Sasuke, I will be the Hokage someday, believe it, Naruto said to him. Sasuke became wide-eyed. Dobi, he wondered. Tsunade looked at Orochimaru. Maybe you remember this Orochimaru, Tsunade said as she made a fist of chakra. She punched the ground and caused an earthquake. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Tsunade, he said to her. Both smiled. Bingo, we have a prize for pointing out the obvious, it is your asses getting kicked personally by us, Naruto said to them. Tsunade nodded. Yes Naruto Koi, we should do that, Tsunade said to him. Both Orochimaru and Sasuke, mouth dropped to the ground hearing those words. Naruto Koi, they shouted. Tsunade turned to them. Oh, didn't you know? She paused and gave Naruto a deep kiss, shocking Orochimaru and Sasuke. Me and Naruto are engaged, Tsunade said to Orochimaru. Orochimaru snapped out of his daze. Yeah right Tsunade, but why are two Konoha shinobi all the way out here? He asked. Tsunade smirked. You mean what are two ex-Konoha shinobi doing out here Orochimaru, Tsunade corrected him. Sasuke wondered. Naruto nodded. Yep. See this headband, we are loyal Iwa shinobi, Naruto said to them. Oh so what are you doing here Dobi and how did you get so old? Sasuke asked. Naruto smiled. Answering those questions in that order, I am here to kick your and bring you back to Iwa. Next question, I have to thank Kyuubi-chan for this change, Naruto told him. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Too bad age has nothing to do with skill, Sasuke said to him. Naruto nodded. That it doesn't, but it has nearly everything to do with power, Naruto told him. Orochimaru broke the chat. So what about you Tsunade? You call me a pedophile, yet you a 54-year-old woman is engaged to a 13-year-old, Orochimaru chuckled. Tsunade shook her head. That is true, but this isn't a Henjorochi, my mental age is 54, but my physical age is 23, isn't medical ninjutsu the best? Tsunade said to him. Orochimaru gasped. Yeah, Orochimaru, I found it before you, the jutsu to eternal life, and only I know it, Tsunade told him. Naruto turned to Sasuke. Oh, and Sasuke, just so you know, because I have the Kyuubi's chakra like this, I am now immortal, I won't die, Naruto told a shocked Sasuke. Naruto and Tsunade sighed. Well, shall we begin this reunion, Naruto Koi? Tsunade asked. Naruto smiled. Whenever you're ready, Tsunade Haim, Naruto said to her. Both charged Orochimaru and Sasuke as the two snapped out of their thinking and got ready for a fight. Tsunade took out a kunai as did Naruto. Orochimaru took out his sword as did Sasuke. Naruto collied with Sasuke and Tsunade collied with Orochimaru. Sasuke, now I am going to show you why you should have killed me back in Final Valley, Naruto said to him. Tsunade looked at Orochimaru. I am going to show you why you should mess with me or Iwa, Orochimaru, Tsunade said to Orochimaru. The ground shook as Sannin versus Sannin and Genin versus Genin matched each other.